me the key to the sky, but I'd rather open my eyes, cause that's what'll keep me alive. Something that sees in my mind. Please do not fuck up my day.
Hi, I'm Nahx'Ryene and welcome to my channel. So I thought with this video I'll address something that not a lot of people seem to be able to get to grips with, and that's my anxiety and my social anxiety. It's something that's actually been with me all my life, and I'm not going to go to the root of it because going through all my past is literally not the best thing for me right now. So I'm just going to address how it's affected me growing up and how it's still affecting me now. Because a lot of people, they see me as this brave person that can do anything, that has a lot of confidence. What they don't seem to realise is that a lot of my confidence was a mask for what truly was going through my head. For me, personally, it was down to the fact I was more scared of people seeing how vulnerable I can be. It's not pleasant, and growing up I found it difficult just to open up just to anyone, and it didn't help that I didn't have that kind of support through my life as regularly as I wanted and from the right people. Do not get me wrong, I used to get enough support from my mum, and she has been there for me through thick and thin as much as she can. She worked, she kept the house, she looked after the children, and if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be the woman I am today. And I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but it's one of those things. I'm going to have to deal with it. I have to. But no, with the social anxiety, I don't like, I've always been this, I was considered a shy person, but it was for a fact I just couldn't mix with people because of how much of myself I was truly hiding, how much of my true authentic self I was hiding, and I didn't want that to slip out. Now I'm in the position to live my authentic life, and I'm more scared that people will see how vulnerable I really am now. So it's trying to get rid of that initial armor that I use to protect myself, and that's where the anxiety comes into play. Downside to it is I used to push it all to one side until eventually it blows up in my own head, and then I go through my meltdowns. And I don't want to keep doing that. I'm trying my hardest to live my life the best way I can, to embrace everything and just take everything as I would love to. I want to live my life, but every time that there is some kind of problem or trouble, the thought of running enters my head, and the will to fight just starts to fall. So I'm going against the fleeing, I'm going against the fighting, and so I freeze. I want to stop this freezing. I want to be able to literally go out into the general public and just be happy, not caring about what anyone else is thinking or saying, just to walk with my head held high, just to be me, not, as I said, just not caring about anyone else, of what they think about me, whether they find me attractive, whether they think I'm a freak. It shouldn't happen. I shouldn't worry about it. All those times that people have seen me with my confidence, with my flair for life, where it looks like I'm stable, it's anything but. It was all an armor and all an act just to keep the broken me safe and protected. This is where he comes into play. He kept me safe, and hence the reason why I presented male for so long. It stopped me from transitioning because I didn't want to be vulnerable around anyone. I believed myself to always having to be the strong person, the anchor, the rock. And now I'm having to rely on other people, and for the fact I struggle reaching out to others, no one's getting in contact with me as often as I would like, and it does take a toll more on my anxiety and my social anxiety. It makes me feel unwanted. It makes me feel unloved. Don't get me wrong, there are those I've made an exception for because there are things in their lives that I have come to understand, and it's justifiable whether I wanted to justify it or not. But sometimes just to get that human contact, there are a few people that do go out their way to reach out to me to make sure I am doing okay, but it's not as often as I would like. And the emptiness just overcomes me. I break down. I can either overeat or I'll undereat. I'll either leave things to get messy or I'll start tidying up. This is where it seems like to medical professionals or psychiatrical professionals that I can cope, but I'm really not. And this is what I'm trying to get through to everyone. Every time, as I said before, they tell me just to try and push it to one side, to think of the bigger picture and all that. My problem is I'm always thinking of the bigger picture, and trying to take people at face value, it isn't as easy and as clean cut as people think it is for me, because I'm literally delving into all the possibilities, all the... Seriously, I just want everything just to go the way it should go, the way I would like it to go, for once, because I'm forever the one bending over backwards just so I can overcome my social anxiety, so I don't feel like I'm making myself the outcast. But now it's starting to feel like everyone else is making me the outcast, and I just want to try and be rid of that. I would like to be able to be invited out to places. I'd like to be able to just go for a random walk. The other night I tried to go for a random walk and I froze. I got so anxious and I just couldn't help myself. This video is a bit later than I anticipated, but I have had a bit of a hectic week last week. And that was just trying to sort out accommodation, and my anxiety got the better of me. And I don't think anyone realises the toll it takes on me. I fight my anxiety so much that as soon as I'm away from everyone, because I feel I'm in the most vulnerable state ever, I faint. I use the word passing out because technically that is what you're doing when you faint. You're passing out. You're just kaput. And I'm not asleep because I'm still tired. I'm still exhausted. And all I want is just to be able to recharge myself after having such a bad anxiety attack. I wanted to go and see someone that lived in these block of flats. But my anxiety got the better of me because of the number of people that were sitting on the steps to begin with. And I was hoping to see her today. But again, as I said, my anxiety just got the better of me and I hated it. I saw her briefly whilst I went to collect a package. And I think she could tell how anxious I was because she kept the conversation to a minimum. And I appreciate that. She is a carer for people with mental health, and I think for that reason she has a level of understanding for me, and I really do appreciate it. She is really understanding. She's been trying to give me as much advice as possible. I listen. I don't tell her about that stuff that I've already tried because I just start sounding like a broken record, and I want that to stop. I would love people to help me because as soon as I start saying, yeah, I've tried that, they think that I've already tried everything, and that's not the case. I'm asking people for help in hopes that they can come up with an idea I haven't yet, because I don't believe I've tried everything to help myself. I'm hoping that maybe an idea can come from them to spark something in me, to try something new that will actually help. I haven't actually spoken to my mum for about a week, but yeah, we had an emotional conversation last time we spoke. And that set my anxiety off enough for me not to want to contact her for a while, because I don't like hurting her at all, not emotionally, not physically, not ever. So for the fact I know I've done that, it really, yeah, again, it plays on my anxiety, my social anxiety, and it makes me fearful that I could just be as the same way to someone else. When I'm out and about, I can talk to anyone, and yet again, that plays into my social anxiety, and because for the fact I'll end up feeling like I want to be involved in their problems to try and help solve their problems, because it may help give an insight into my own drama to be able to help rectify that. But again, I'm fearful, especially for the fact I seem to attract a lot of toxic people into my life, which yet again ties into my social anxiety. So when I do go out, and I'm always with someone at least as much as I can, unless I need to quickly pop to the shop because I need to get something, and even then I try and do that as quickly as I can so I can get back into the safety of my four walls. Unfortunately, people see it as, I'm going out, look at her, she's actually going out by herself doing this, doing that. No, I'm giving myself a purpose, I've given myself a goal. The end game is I'll have food when I get home, so to speak. Just one example. The other example, cigarettes. Another example is the cafe. I help down at the cafe as much as I can. They are so understanding that they even come out with, I've sometimes believed that it's fictitious, just to help me get out of this flat to get into the cafe, because I feel safe there, and why the hell am I being locked all the way up in here when I feel safe down there? It's bizarre, but at the same time they do understand that when I'm working, I've got all the anxiety from transport there to come here. Don't get me wrong though, last couple of shifts was amazing, barring a few complaints I discovered. But all in all, it was actually a really great couple of shifts. From the taxi journey there, if you've seen my Facebook, you'll understand. So I'm not going to go into that. But because I was able to get taxi, it keeps my anxiety at low. So therefore, I've got more energy to do things. I sensed someone came into the room I was staying in when I was asleep, and that played heavy on my anxiety because obviously no makeup on, wig was off, I'm vulnerable, and thence my anxiety flaring up, and it takes me a few hours to snap out of it. When I'm anxious, as I said, I start feeling faint so much that I get dizzy, I get lightheaded, my blood rises, I get hot flushes. And this, I think, for this reason, they think I'm on hormones, and it's like, trust me, I wish I was on hormones right now. It would explain a lot. And if it was the case, I'd just cut it out and then maybe return to normal. But I wouldn't be able to cut it out. But if I was taking hormones, it means I'm self-medicating again. And I'm trying to get everything done, rolling on the books properly, because I'm waiting to get onto the London GIC. It should be about a month before I receive a patient pack to fill out and send back. Don't get me started. Yeah, again, as I said, everything just boom last week, and trying to sort out accommodation and figuring out whether or not I want to get assistance with travel. And yet again, that even plays onto my anxiety because I've now got to change GP, and that's just basically put a spanner in the works for that. My name change with the GP should have changed on an NHS, but speaking to someone that's worked with records told me it can take a couple of weeks to a few weeks to get everything sorted out, to get myself a new NHS number with my new name, new title. And unfortunately, they want to give me the title MX because of everything that's already gone on, where the GP screwed up. And yes, but I'm guessing they can see how integral this transition is going to be for my mental health. Because I know as soon as I feel like I am the way I should be, my anxiety should be a lot lower. I'd be able to cope with it a lot better. I'd be able to just be able to go around and do everything, because I'm aware that people are convinced that I want to change my certain external appearances for everyone else. Whereas no, because I don't actually care much about everyone else. Yes, I do care about the judgment. I do want to be passable because I identify more as a cis woman rather than a transgender woman. And I'd love to be a cis woman, but I know that will never be. Up until I found out that there had been trial runs for womb transplants, and if that's the case, I'm going to go that way. I would, everyone knows how much I'd love to carry my own children. But and then also talking with another transgender, Scott, he's been a rock, because if it wasn't for him, I think I would have broken down Saturday night, Sunday morning. And he helped me through it. He was able to make sure I could actually get through on with my shift. And yeah, Scott, thank you. Thank you very much. And it's not just that. Also, you've got everyone on TikTok that have been there for me. They've been wonderful. Not only have they been there for me, but they've allowed me to be there for them. And I like that. It gives me a purpose, and that's what can help a lot. Don't get me wrong, I've still got far to go to be able to get away from my anxiety, but it's a step in the right direction. So hopefully, where I'm moving to, I'll be able to get a bit more support with that, and hopefully everything goes forward with everything. Transition, life. I want to live. I don't like the thought of wanting to end myself all the time. That is fading slowly. It really is. But this is going to be a long process, and I'm getting there. I do cry. I am having my little sobs every night still, but it's not lasting as long as they used to. And I think after this, I'm actually going to be getting some sleep. So hopefully, and as I said, this jaw of mine, definitely would love it to be smaller, because I hate having to frame my face with my hair all the time, tilting my head. Just need it to be reduced, like shrunken down a bit, little bit there, in a bit more, just a bit more feminine. I just want to look more female in the face and in the body. Well, body's actually practically there, but I don't have the hips, but it's just more mature. Because unless I'm using a camera, then, and as I said, with the framing of my hair, the right makeup, then yeah, get there. But yeah, we're getting there. And people need to literally understand there is a difference between dysphoria and dysmorphia. It takes hormones to help you with the dysphoria and some reconstructive surgery. Whereas dysmorphia is a psychological defect, not defect, is basically more psychological. Whereas gender dysphoria isn't as psychological, but that has a psychological impact. But it's my cross to bear. I'm not asking anyone else to bear it with me. Yes, they tell me, oh, welcome to womanhood. Thanks, but don't compare dysphoria to dysmorphia. They are two totally different things. And as I said, I can see where I look masculine, and I don't want to see it because it literally upsets me. That's what plays with my anxiety for my personal self, not what other people may say and what other people may think. Hell, I've been flattered, I've been hit on. So, yeah, it's not always that. It tends to be my voice that tends to be more of a giveaway. And especially with the incident that happened the other day, someone spoke to me on the phone, and because I had a mask on and trying to talk quietly, I sounded more masculine. Then he saw me, saw that I looked more feminine than I sounded, and wanted me to prove who I was, even though it was supposed to have been proof for our age. I could have literally thrown in his faces, I look over the age of 18, you're not going to lose your job if you don't see ID, because you're being stupid, you're being a bigot, you're being ignorant, and in the end, you're the one that's looking like a fool, because you're trying to out a transgender for your own personal pleasure, for your own satisfaction, your own humour. I was lucky that there was someone there with me-ish, or that was able to witness everything that happened, and they could vouch the fact that they were trying to out me. What on earth? Seriously? I was in a vulnerable state where I felt like I did want to end it, but I thought that I was lucky enough to be able to speak it out with my fellow residents. And yeah, she was ballistic. She went ballistic about it. She just did. She thought, and she was the one that said, because I was in a shop, delivery was there, and it was basically coils for a vape, because I'm trying to quit smoking, and she offered to take the parcel off of his hands, and it was like, no, it's got to be me. And it's like, I even offered my bank card as proof. But hey, Sylvie, like I said, because people might want to say, oh, probably didn't know. But no, trust me, you did not see his face. You did not see the stress that it put me under. So, I'm trying to keep this short. So I will now say, I am Nahx'Ryene. Thank you for coming to my channel. Please do mind that large jaw where I look like Joe's dad. Family Guy reference. And stay great. Have a great day, because you make it a great day. Bye, Starling.